and seeking the blessings of the God, to keep all of us healthy during these pandemic times. Let's unveil our VEI summit together. Let us curtain raise the VEI summit, please. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Deepti, for that wonderful art which has been done by her. The mandala has been done by her. Thank you very much. Yes.
Thank you so much, Anu.
Thank you. VEI Summit Day 2 begins. So there is no doubt that leadership will be one of the most heavily tested skills throughout the coronavirus pandemic. Emotional intelligence is at the core of being able to make these behavioral shifts and ultimately helping one to attain all those adjectives describing stellar leadership. Research shows that EI accounts for nearly 90% of what sets high performers apart from others with similar technical skills and knowledge. Keeping the above as the core, Emotional Analytics and Co. and MEQ Academy have collaborated together to weave a virtual Emotional Intelligence Summit 2020. This is the one of its kind in India country happening for us. The theme for this summit is EI for all. Yesterday, we have seen different nuances, different applications of EI. And similarly, today, we would be seeing more applications, and this will confirm that the theme is very apt, it has been chosen. This Emotional Intelligence Summit aims to bring together leading EQ practitioners, corporate leaders, academic counselors, psychologists, behavioral scientists, researchers, and research scholars to exchange and share their experiences and research results on all aspects of social and emotional intelligence. It also provides a premier interdisciplinary platform for researchers, practitioners, and educators to present and discuss the most recent innovations, trends, and concerns, as well as the practical challenges encountered and solutions adopted in the fields of social and emotional intelligence. Welcome to the day 2 of the Virtual Emotional Intelligence Summit. As we begin, we have today our from MEQ Academy, our founder and director, Lata Singh, who will be introducing and sharing about her work of the Academy, what she does. Over to you, Lata, for introducing your Academy work.
Thank you so much, Anu. Good morning, everyone, and I welcome you to day 2 of VEI Summit. We all know that emotional intelligence is now becoming one of the top 10 skills that is required by for the success of employees and executives. But in MEQ Academy, we believe by our work that it is equally important for our children as well. And we focus more in the area of children education and college going students. So we provide emotional intelligence trainings, workshops, and certifications to children as well as young adults. So if I can have my slides, please. So I would like to take you through our journey of last 2.5 years and what all we have did in this area and what we are planning to do in future and the collaborations we are looking forward to. So welcome all again to day 2 of VEI Summit. So MEQ Academy, as you know, the name is just Meravella EQ Academy. Many people ask me what the name is about. Many people find it really difficult to pronounce it as well. So Meraviglia is an Italian word and it means surprise. It means, wonder. It means something unique and something that brings happiness to people's life. So we chose this word, so we don't have to tell that it's an international company. We are doing work globally. We have people all around the world who support us, who work with us. So founded in 2018, though I have been working in this area for almost 6 years now, but we founded in 2018 Meravella EQ Academy. And we started with, kids and parents life coaching certification. That was my main area where I thought, we should train people in India to help children and parents to raise their children and help them out. We all are becoming so much isolated these days that I thought that, if we could have more and more kids and parents life coaches around us, we will not have problems that we are seeing. But then, emotional intelligence in my life, and then I thought, the social emotional learning can really help to take this program at a broader level to schools and colleges. And again, with, because I have around 18 years of experience in corporates, so I work with corporates as well to provide EQ training, assessments, and workshop. This is something I do individually, and yes, we have a team of coaches who support me in this work. Next slide, please. So main vision behind MEQ Academy is to create an emotionally intelligent society where people share their feelings and emotions freely and build a more connected and happier world. We're really looking forward to, a society where people don't hesitate to share what they feel. Next, please. So as I said, my main start of this company was to provide kids and parents life certification. So we created this program by our knowledge, by the help of our mentors, and this is a unique program. And I have not heard of this in India before. I think we are one of the only company that provides kids life certification program to individuals. It is a mix of life coaching, social emotional learning, emotional intelligence, NLP, and positive psychology, and that's how it makes it a unique program. So we have now in last 2 years trained about 30 plus MEQ certified life coaches. We have coaches in India, Dubai, Singapore, USA, Panama City, and Jordan, and it's growing every day. If you want to look around, who all are our coaches, you can definitely visit our website and you will find the details of all the coaches we have. We have been working in the education area for past 2.5 years. And in these 2.5 years, we have worked with more than 20 plus schools. We have given workshops on EQ to 20,000 plus students, and 1,500 teachers have been also, trained and got workshop from MEQ Academy. Next, please. Similarly, as we think, that children needs emotional intelligence, our young adults, the college goers also need emotional intelligence equally. So we do have program around it for college students, and MEQ Academy every month, does emotional intelligence workshop for young adults. And in last 6 months, we have done workshop with 750 plus students around the globe. Actually, we got students from all over the world, and this virtual thing has made it so easy to reach out to people. And we are happy that we could, reach out to people and give them some idea about what emotional intelligence is all about. We also do quarterly EQ workshop for faculty members. I have been doing it for past 3 years, but now we do it under MEQ Academy. And yes, now we are taking a step ahead. And with emotional ethics in future, we are planning to do, courses in universities and colleges. So every student, no matter from which stream they are doing their degree, taking their degree, they will be given emotional intelligence course as well. And we are open for collaboration. We are looking for collaboration around the world who are already working in this area. We really work with corporates. We have been doing workshop assessment and coaching and training for corporates equally. But yes, now our main focus is into education, because I believe, if we have given this training to children, after 20 years, we will have a totally different, humble world around us. Next. So it's like, no one can do such kind of work alone. I have a team, we started this MEQ Academy almost 2.5 years back. And my husband, Niladri Bhushan Rautre, is my co-founder in this academy and has been my great strength in whatever I do. We are blessed to have our advisory team. Dr. Saroj Dubey, you have heard him yesterday, and he's an amazing person, amazing doctor, and he has been supporting us, guiding us. Mrs. Neeta Singh, she comes with her, a long experience in education as well as media, and we are blessed to have her as our mentor. And of course, my father, T.S. Jasila, who has been, a great support to me because he has around 50 years of experience in his education world. So he had been in academics throughout his life. Next, please. This is my small core team that, I was busy for last 1.5 months. We have been busy in VI Summit to make it successful. And this is the team who has been taking care of MEQ Academy. So Chetna, Komal, Daniela, who is a master life coach with us, and she trains, people About the coaches, she provides them master coaching. Then Abha Bayani, she takes care of our SEL programs for schools. And of course, Vijaya, we have recently launched a new program for kids yoga coaches. So this is what she does. So thank you so much, team. We are here today. It's all because of your hard effort. Next, please. So any one of you, if you have any queries, you want to connect with us, please feel free to connect anytime. And thank you so much. Without wasting a minute, I would like to invite you again for the day 2 of VEI Summit. Over to you, Annapurna. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lata. Thank you very much. I think it was awesome collaborating with you and MEQ Academy and putting up this summit together. It was really an honor for us. Yes, today we will begin our day with a keynote address from Patty Friedman. In a couple of minutes, we will be starting. And she is joining us from US. Thank you, Patty. I know it is quite going to be very much evening for you, and it will become late for you. But then, thank you for honoring our request and being over here and sharing your thoughts. And Patty will be doing the keynote address for us, as well as she will be continuing on the next panel, the panel which is going to start at around 9 o'clock, wherein we are going to open our day by telling, as Lata was saying, EQ or EI in education space, which is quite important topic. And as we observe today, the International Girl Child Day, I think we are opening our first panel with all women panel. That's something which I wanted to mention. And I would request Lata to introduce Patty and tell about her work and what is she going to speak on. Please over to Lata to give her profile reading, please.
Okay, thank you so much. Welcome, Patty, and we are so happy and honored to have you today in this morning with us. And today, Patty is going to talk about social and emotional learning and EQ for SDGs. This is one subject very close to my heart. And, I think 6 Seconds has played a very important role in my life. Where I am today, it's because of 6 Seconds. And, all pop-up festival, I can say we are going to learn more about these festivals from Patty today. So introducing her, as a keynote speaker today, Patty Friedman is the director of Pop-Up Festival, the world's largest SEL event. Last year, in partnership with UNICEF World Children's Day, Pop-Up Festival reached 1.7 million children and adults around the world. In India, there were over 4,000 events hosted by volunteers to bring SEL into schools, clubs, and homes. Pop-up festivals bring emotional well-being, children's rights, and sustainable development goals to children. Patty is also Global Marketing Director for 6 Seconds Emotional Intelligence Network. Last year, she presented a keynote at the first Emotional Intelligence Conference at the United Nations, sharing the stage with NYT bestseller Daniel Goleman and Rich Hernandez from Google's Search Inside Yourself Leadership Institute. Patty holds a master's in education and was an award-winning classroom teacher before moving into marketing to create emotional intelligence stories, videos, and content. Patty's noble goal is to use her voice so that others may use theirs. Therefore, Pop-Up Festival is a project close to her heart, teaching children and parents essential SEL skills that last a lifetime. So let's hear it out from Patty Friedman. Welcome, Patty. And
thank you so much.
The stage is all yours. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to share my screen.
Yes, Patty, please go ahead. Yeah.
Yes, can you hear me?
Sure.
Okay, great. And you can see our slides, no problem, yes?
Yes.
Okay, so, well, good morning and thank you. It's an honor to be with you today, and I really appreciate the invitation, and I'm so excited to be part of this first but very important conference that you all are holding. So I'd like to talk about how EQ can be used to build capacity in youth and inside ourselves to take on the biggest challenges that we face, I'm going to share a few projects that we're working on at 6 Seconds and to give you some tools so that you can keep practicing emotional intelligence. First, I'm going to start with a very simple definition for emotional intelligence, which is emotional intelligence is being smarter with feelings. EQ is for everyone. It's in all sectors and all ages all over the world. And at 6 Seconds, we want 1 billion people practicing emotional intelligence because we believe that it is the force that will change this world. We know that EQ works. We've been doing this for over 20 years, and we have experience and we have the data. And I want to show you this scatter graph here that's based on our robust, validated, normed assessment. And what you can see here is the world's largest study of emotional intelligence, and it represents a randomized sample from over 124 countries. So you can see this very tight correlation here. When EQ scores increase, success increases. And I'm talking about quality of life, effectiveness, relationships, and well-being. This trend holds for both our adult and our youth populations, and it shows us that EQ is learnable, not fixed. We have tools and methods that have proven to be effective for growing EQ, and we can do that at any age. So I'm going to go back in time and tell you a little bit about how 6 Seconds got started. Back in 1992, Dan Goleman was a journalist for the New York Times, and he was working on his groundbreaking book. And he visited a school in California that was implementing an early version of our program. And when the book became a blockbuster hit in 1995, the school was flooded with calls, and not just from teachers or educators, but from all kinds of people saying, how do I do this EQ thing? We want it in our company, we want it in our organization, in our hospital, for our team. And so to meet that demand, 6 Seconds was started in 1997 to teach people actually how to practice EQ. So the name 6 Seconds comes actually from the research of Dr. Candace Pert on molecules of emotion. And she said that it takes only 6 seconds for the neurohormones in your brain to pass through your body. And if after 6 seconds you are still feeling an emotion, it's because in some way you're choosing it. So our focus is how to use emotional intelligence. And in our model, we want people to use EQ to help them respond to how they think, feel, and act. And our model is in a circle because we believe that all three are seamlessly connected as a process for practicing EQ. And while we work with organizations and corporates all over the world, today I'm really going to focus on our work in the social emotional learning space. I want to make a case for SEL as a strategic and systemic tool to get us to achieve SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals. So here's the key question. How can we build capacity in children and adults to make changes to solve the biggest challenges that we face today? Because at their roots, SDGs are people problems. Technology innovations will help and legislation is essential, but until we get people in the system to change, we can never reach the SDGs. So let's look at two examples of projects of how we're using SEL to fuel that necessary change. Let's look at SEL in action. So some of you may know the work of Professor Wangari Maathai and the Green Belt movement in Kenya. She was the first African woman and the very first environmentalist to win the Nobel Peace Prize back in 2004 for her work on environmental, social, and political activism. She's actually one of the very first advocates for the SDGs. She was working on SDGs before we had SDGs. This is a quote from her. "I've always felt that our work was not simply about planting trees. It was about inspiring people to take charge of their environment, the system that governs them, their lives, and their future." And I really think this symbolizes what capacity building that I'm talking about. Professor Mathai's foundation had been working in Kenya for many years, but they faced systemic corruption and many people were disengaged with environmentalism. Her organization was great at planting trees, but not reaching the success that they wanted to change, and they knew they needed to get there. They had to get better at working with people. So they asked the harder question: what would it take to grow courageous leaders for the future of the planet? To grow a whole generation of hummingbirds, each doing their small part, but working together. So 6 Seconds started working with the Wangari Maathai Foundation as partners to develop these future leaders. The foundation is really based on a long-term strategy, changing a whole generation, starting with 10-year-olds in village schools. We're partnering with them to develop measurable EQ skills for environmental leaders. Now, I want to emphasize that this is a systems approach to change, not just an add-on extra class after school. The foundation is in a long-term relationship with administrators and teachers and parents to build the necessary skills and engagement required to support students. Because we know that for change to last, we have to address the system where the change is taking place. So I shared just one program touching a cluster of schools, but to be real, we can't build capacity and achieve the SDGs if we're limited to a handful of teachers in one country. So we're going to need to zoom out a little bit, and that's exactly what we did with our next project. Pop-up festivals for well-being, emotional intelligence, and children's rights are an audacious capacity building project for the SDGs. And this year marks the 31st anniversary of the Convention on the Rights of the Child, or the CRC. It's become the most widely ratified human rights treaty in history, and it helped transform children's lives around the world. And it's truly a remarkable achievement. And while the CRC laws are important, unfortunately, we can look around the world and see that legislation is not enough to end child exploitation. And if the laws of the CRC are not enough, what would it take? What's the difference that could possibly make the difference? What's the systemic change? And how can we actually build capacity to make children's rights a priority? It seems clear that we need to address not just the children, but also the adults around them that we're trying to support. We need the adults to have more skills. In fact, our data suggests that when parents and teachers and administrators practice EQ, the children in their care develop it as well. So we need to engage the adults and kids together, and that's what we thought about when we designed pop-up festivals to meet this need. So I'm going to show you a little video that I've prepared from last year's festival, and I want you to keep an eye out for maybe a friend that might be in our conference today. So pop-up festivals are in their third year of partnering with UNICEF Children's Day. And this is a free event. It's 100% volunteer run, and it's reached over 1.7 million children and adults globally. It's in 200 more countries and territories in 16 languages. Pop-Up Festival is the world's largest EQ event, and it also happens to be a lot of fun. So I'm going to make sure that everyone gets the link. This is free content that we've created for children, and you can find it at sicsec.org/popup. So through this experience of Pop-Up Festival, children get to learn more about what's inside them, to discover and name feelings. And adults tell us that they never talked with children about their feelings before. It's like a bridge to be able to talk about what's really going on inside them. For many children, especially in post-conflict areas, recognizing the child's emotional life inside them is the key to healthy development. It's the difference that can build capacity in every child. So what lessons from Pop-Up and projects like One Montgomery Mathai Foundation and all of our work in schools and universities over the last 20 years has taught us is that a child lives within a system. And we can't make positive change for that child and teach them EQ or give them rights or whatever the mission is without considering the layers around the child. And so we think of the parents and the teachers and the caregivers, and we think of all of the organizations and the governments and the policymakers and everyone who's on this meeting right now. We are all part of that child's system, and we need more EQ in all of the layers. So SEL will not exist or succeed if we make it an extra. That's why we've been working to integrate EQ into schools at a systems level. Our scope and sequence is a model for how EQ grows from ages 4 to 104 and how the stages build up on a foundation. Our work with the Columbia Teachers College is one example of how we're supporting pre-service school administrators to help them discover their noble goal or their purpose. Another project we're doing is with the city of Dubuque, Iowa, to train and support people on the city council and the police department and the Parks and Rec so that they can bring emotional intelligence into their workplace and better serve their city. SEL builds capacity in both adults and children. And we've developed assessments to measure EQ for students and educators and for school climate and workplace environments. And so this is where you come in. So I want to give you a little push today to support what you're doing to take on global goals and get us to be able to achieve the SDGs with a lot more resources. So I want to briefly tell you about a 3-step model that we've developed to harness EQs to fuel SDGs. And in this diagram, basically, we've identified our process and attached them to some SDG goals. For example, in step 1, people learn about emotions and increase their awareness and skills. And we've tagged emotional well-being and schools for that one. In the second step, people are able to use their emotions to build more collaborative, authentic relationships, especially working with people who are different. And that focuses on gender differences and equality. In the third step, we can use emotions to build alliances and share resources and greater openness to change and be able to create innovative solutions. And you can see how we've identified climate change and peace building and collaboration for that sort of third actualization step. The SDGs are going to require a brand new way of thinking and working together to solve problems. And we think that EQ is essential to make that progress. 6 Seconds, through projects like Pop-Up Festival, has taken up the challenge to work on the SDGs. And in particular, we're focusing on number 3, 4, and this year, number 13. So what goals of this 17 goals are you drawn to? Where does your heart lead you to make your difference, to put your energy in? You could type right into chat right now, what goal really activates you? For me, it's number 3, because that's where my passion project is. But maybe for you, it has to do with gender equality or clean water or reducing inequalities. So in a minute, we're going to go to small groups. And I'm going to, so you've got your SDG goal in mind. So I want you to be thinking about that. And then once you have that in mind, we're going to go to small groups and we're going to think about the SDG goal you've chosen and what are the people skills that you're going to need inside yourself to be able to achieve that, or your team to be able to achieve that. So go ahead and take a screenshot of this. And in a second, our helper is going to drop us into breakout rooms for about 8 minutes. And I'd like everybody in your breakout room to get a chance to talk and listen. So you'll have about 2 minutes to talk and exchange your SDG goal and what capacities inside you think are going to be needed. And we'll see you back here in about 8 minutes.
Yes, thank you, Patty.
Okay.
And for everyone, the moment we open the breakout rooms, you will automatically be assigned and you will be in a breakout room. So you will not be in the main room. After 8 minutes, you will get an indication that the breakout room is about to close, and you'll have 15 seconds before which you'll be back in the main room. So 8 minutes and 15 seconds, you'll be back in the main room. Have a great discussion. See you in a bit. Here we go.
Okay. Well, thank you and welcome back. If you had anything exciting happen in your breakout room that you'd like to share, any big ideas or aha moments, you can go ahead and put them in chat so we can all enjoy them and the learnings that you've gotten. I go through cycles of feeling very overwhelmed by the amount of work that we have to do to improve the SDGs. And then I go through cycles of feeling very energized. And I want you all to know that that's normal. And having an experience like this today where we get together and meet each other and share ideas gives me that energy. And so I would like to encourage you to keep connecting in your communities and your networks. And a huge thank you to this conference for bringing us together. So whatever goals you've chosen to work on, you will need EQ to fuel you up. EQ is a 100% renewable resource, and it's already inside you. So I know a lot of people are familiar with this model. This is the Plutchik emotions wheel, and we use it a lot in our work. And if someone could pop into chat, we have a version of this as an interactive tool on our website, and I just want to make sure you have that in chat. And it's pretty cool because this, I'll go ahead and tell you about the model if you haven't seen it before. On this model, there are 8 basic emotions and all their variations. And like colors, the emotion words on this model move outward with less intensity. So the darker colors in the middle are more intense, and then they get less intense towards the edge of the petals. There's lots of interesting things about opposites and what's close by, and you can explore that on our website. Let's just do a very quick activity, like 2 minutes, to think about, take a big breath, and think about an experience that was recently challenging for you. Maybe a tough conversation with someone in your workplace, or with your teenager, or your partner. Think about a hard conversation you recently had. And once you've got that conversation in mind, go and look on the feelings wheel and see if you can find a feeling word that matches the feeling you were having when you had that conversation.
I think that slide, the words are not much clearer.
Are not big enough.
Yeah. So what
Okay.
we can do is we can mark it and they can see through the website itself, which is already
That's
there.
fine. I can just keep going through the prompts of the questions.
Yeah.
When you go to the website, you can just think about this experience.
Yes.
So think about experience, choose an emotions word, and then once you've thought about that, think about a message that emotion is telling you. It's there for a reason. All emotions are data, like an email to yourself. And you have to open it up and read that data and think about why it's there. And accurately naming and identifying feelings is a really important skill to using them for energy. So once you have that message from yourself, you can say, hey, did this work out the way I wanted it to be? And if it didn't work out the way you liked it, what could you do differently? What emotion would you like to have? And that's a way we transform our feelings into practice for the next time. This works with adults and children. It's like a rehearsal. We get to have a do-over next time. And we're teaching ourselves by using our emotions and our messages how to become better skilled with our emotions. So when we think about children all over the world, what if they had more kinds of these skills to name and understand feelings and to solve problems in a practical way like that? So learning about feelings, to identify them, to look at their thoughts around them and the patterns that they create, that's all emotional intelligence. And when we make small changes, we're changing about the way we show up every day in our conversations and our relationships with other people. And that changes those relationships. So by changing the way we think, we can change the way we show up, and changing the way we show up changes the way we behave. And so you can see how that ripples outward quite quickly. So we can think about the changes we want to make in the world and our SDG actions, those big goals. And then we work backwards and we think about the small changes that we want to make today. So to conclude, we reach the end. 6 Seconds is a global nonprofit, and we have friends and partners in over 200 countries. And on behalf of the whole 6 Seconds community, I want to thank you all for the work you're doing in this world for children. We are all in this together, and our success in achieving the SDGs requires us to harness our collective talents and energies, and standing on the shoulders of those who came before us, we can reach out and solve these problems. Now, we talked today about the importance of emotional intelligence and SDGs and the Sustainable Development Goals, and I want to leave you with one more powerful question. When you think about the goal you care about, how are you feeling? You might have a whole emotion, a range of emotions like anger, joy, overwhelm, commitment, hope. But I'm wondering if maybe you feel a little bit more excited. Our work today is to harness the power of emotions and to use them as fuel to help us build a future that's worthy of our children. And so I want to thank you today for your time.
Thank you, Patty. I think it was
Thank you so
wonderful
much.
start. Wonderful
Patty.
start. Thank you so much. It was wonderful start of the day, and the experience has been awesome. Really, yes. Can we have a round of applause for Patty? Yes. Can we go on the slideshow mode, please? And can we show our small gratitude to Patty, please? Next slide. Next. Yeah, Patty, from Emotional Ethics & Co. and MEQ Academy, we have a small certificate of appreciation for delivering the keynote address during our Emotional Intelligence Summit.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining, and it was a wonderful experience. We will have more collaborations with you, 6 Seconds, and we will work with you. Thank you. And going and honoring the SDG goals. Next slide. Honoring the SDG goals, we have planted a tree in your name in our Himalayas, the greater Himalayas, which falls in Uttarakhand.
Thank you so much.
Send this to you. You can track your tree. It will be wonderful to see that.
That's lovely.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And we will be soon be back with Patty with an eminent panelist. Thank you. Thank you.